Okay, here I am 10 seconds later and my mom's calling me, so you guys are gonna get to eavesdrop. Hi, Mom.
Hey. So what did you have going on this evening?
I'm talking to myself on my computer.
You're talking to yourself.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means I'm making a YouTube video where I just talk to myself.
Okay. Alright. I'd like you to help clean up the papers that you have spread all over the sitting area.
Okay.
Area.
Okay. I can help you with that.
Adding some, like a little extra something to my already overwhelmed pile and driving me a little bit over the edge.
Ah.
Having that much there.
I'm sorry that that's stressing you out.
It's not the only thing, it's just one thing that can't be handled. And,
Okay. You're welcome. Bye. Okay. That was Gaia, by the way. He left. Gaia is probably my favorite thing ever. So, where was I? Ah, my spiritual awakening. So, I had lots of different ideas and inferences about the end of science, sort of a unifying theory. And I realized at some point that it would have to be spiritual in nature, because the way science works is it's deeply ingrained with time. For instance, to measure any experiment, you have to have a function of time. How did X happen while time was occurring, and how much time was occurring? And I realized, probably before April 26th, 2016, that anything that comes before time is not going to be scientific, because that just can't happen. You can't have a logical function of time coming from the thing that created time. There has to be some sort of nonsense. So, I was reading a lot about spirituality and practicing some meditation, practicing some thinking just for myself, practicing some, different spiritual practices, prayer and forgiveness and things that I appreciate. Okay, now I'm too hot. So, that all happened, and I met a bunch of lovely, young, innocent souls who were also very curious about their own spirituality. And we started hanging out, smoking weed together, and it was really, really fun. So, what happened on April 26th, 2016? I was hanging out with my friends, Tater and Sean and Geneva. And I took 2 tabs of acid. And I think the first thing I did after I did that was I ran down the beach. I'm gonna wipe the camera screen. I ran down the beach of the lake that Tater lived near. We were at Tater's house. And I ran like a cat on the balls of my feet, and it was fun. And Geneva did that with me too. And we sat on a dock, and I kissed her. And that was fun, and wonderful, and beautiful. And then I ran back because I was starting to get, sort of less stably in my body, less wanting to run around and more wanting to sit and experience without moving. So I think I ended up on Tater's couch, and I think I had a blanket. I think when I started to get very strong hallucinations, I just ducked under the blanket. And I remember seeing colors and beautiful, twisting structures of reality unfolding and transforming, forming. And I remember feeling probably the most pleasure that a human body can withstand without just not being able to feel it anymore. It sort of felt like a ongoing, rippling, pulsing orgasm, but in all of my body, not just in my penis. And after that, my brain started trying to figure out what I was doing, where I was, who I was, what was happening. And because I was so joyful and innocent in that moment, at least this is what I'm thinking right now, because I was so not stuck in anything at that moment, the thoughts I was having did not self-limit, and so duality started to reveal itself as being non-duality. And in my experience, only people who have experienced that can really understand what it is. But I'm still going to try and explain it, knowing full well that it is completely futile. Black and white started to make sense as being one thing, and that thing is black and white, but the same thing. See, our language is created in duality, and so there are no words for the entity that is both black and white at the same time, in the same place. But it is a thing, and you could certainly name it. I'm not going to, because I don't really care to name it. I started to see how my past and my future all came from where I am, what I'm thinking, and what I'm doing now. So in a sense, you could say that I saw time, which is a word that we have for it, as a whole, not as three parts, three directions, just as one function of causality. As I'm saying function, I'm thinking that, math does have a part to play. But I'm not going to follow that tangent right now. So, what happened is the framework of my world started collapsing from being consisting of many different parts, all of them distinct with different shapes and colors and feelings. Sound and light were two different things. And one after the other, almost exponentially, the differentness of the universe from other parts of itself collapsed, and I was left with that and me. And then it became quite clear that I am that, and that is me. And I am, obviously, and have always been, obviously, because if I were to be born, I would have to be born of something different than myself. And nothing that exists is not me. So, that happened, and I was aware of being the being. And I remember talking with Geneva and talking with others and having it be like the outside world and my brain and my body were all one brain. One consciousness of being. And that was really me. And this scared me because the fear I had been avoiding for the first 19 years of my life had been not wanting to be alone. We did all the things we did to get jobs and become established and well-known and well-respected, to become moral beings, beings who were on the right side of politics, on the right side of history, on the right part of society. We did all of that because I wanted to be with others in a happy and peaceful way. I wanted not to be alone. And I had a very violent reaction to finding out that I was alone, which is only one facet, but at the time I viewed it as the whole state of being. Aloneness. And so I became sad and scared and givey-uppy. And eventually I got too tired of trying to find a way to be okay in that. And I went to sleep. I have a lot more to say about what that probably means, but I'm going to follow this story chronologically. And so, at the time, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, things were a lot better. I still believed absolutely that what I had experienced was real, but my brain was no longer under an external influence, and therefore I was able to sort of focus on one individual part of the experience, like Geneva, or like the color red, or the color blue, or the sensations of my body. And so we went to the grocery store, because Geneva was taking care of me because I was fucked up emotionally. And we went to a grocery store, King Soopers, And I think I bought like a breakfast burrito and a whole bunch of mac and cheese, and I was so very grateful that I could still gain pleasure from eating. If you can hear that, that is my little brother, one of two. They are twins, and that one is practicing his clarinet. In any case, I continued. I became re-engaged in time. I slowly, over the next week or so, became re-immersed in the separateness, of the illusion of separateness that exists here, courtesy of time. And the one other thing I remember from that experience is calling myself God. Because in my past reading about religions and such things, the only being that is capable of being all things, or being a personality in the face of being both light and darkness, good and bad, life and death, is God. The giver of those things is God in all religion. And that's the word we have for that person, or he, or that. Sean is calling me. I very much love Sean, so I'm going to answer it. Sorry for all the phone calls. Hey, Sean. Good evening. How are you? No, not at all. I'm making a YouTube video for our channel right now. Yeah, but you're on it now, so say hi. Sean says, "Hello, world." You know, I'm gonna put you on speaker. Okay, what's up?
Not a whole lot. I was just in the process of driving back from Denver, and I don't know, you were popping up in my mind, so I wanted to speak with you. I was
thank
wondering
you.
how, I know you've been in kind of a transition period recently. I was just wondering how things were going.
Well, things are just going.
Yeah.
I watched a video that Geneva sent me today of Alan Watts talking about us and the situation that we are all in.
Alan Watts is one of my favorite speakers of all time. He's so fantastic.
I very much like his accent.
Me too.
Gaia has decided that my computer is probably the best place to sleep. So, I watched that, and then I decided that I am just going to express myself, and no matter how long it takes, it's gonna happen. So I've been sitting here for like 40 minutes, making 20-minute installments. The second one is 30 seconds to being complete, talking about how I got to be me, and how I got to be aware of being me. And I would actually... You were very crucial to this story, so you picked a good time to call me. How serendipitous.
Well, the universe is the best timer.
I agree with that, seeing as it is time.
Yeah, obviously interrupted something.
I was sort of disjointedly trying to describe what happened to me on April 26th, 2016.
Oh.
I'd gone chronologically in the last 40 minutes from when I was born up until then, skipping
Okay.
most of it. This video is probably going to be a little bit longer because I'm not going to just end it having received this call from you. So in the last few days, I've been sort of realizing that any forward motion in time by me feels like I'm not really being me, like I'm trying to pretend not to be me.
Or you're trying to pretend to be something which is a fragment of you. It's like, it's a part of you, and you're trying to be only that.
Yes, and it has been feeling very frustrating and sort of negative to me. In the last few days, at least. And so I decided that a good way to alleviate that negative tension would be to just say everything that I can think of to say. Because, I mean, there's 1,000,001 reasons to be afraid of myself, but because of that, I'm just not gonna do that anyway. So...
It's an endless cycle.
Well, you know, I agree with that. It does feel like sort of a desire to end the cycle, the infinite cycle. But the cycle is infinite, so I know that it's also going to be, in the end, a futile attempt.
Oh, I suppose I meant the thought, or the cycle of there's always going to be a reason to be afraid. There's going to be a rationale that can lead you towards the path of fear, but like, I think that will always be present. I think that option of going down that path of fear is always going to be present, but in that sense, it's endless, you know?
I guess that's
You
true.
could just spend your whole life worrying about worry and uncertainty and this or that, the color of that, the taste of this. I don't know. You could fear about anything.
What it's gonna look like.
What's it gonna look like? How are we gonna do it?
I agree. And maybe what I'm frustrated with is fear. And so my solution to that apparently was to stop being afraid for a little while.
But can you stop it? Is it a process that can be stopped?
Well, not permanently, but remember, we're all just parts here. So I can be the part that isn't afraid, but that's just not permanent.
True.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I found an ashram, actually, outside of Boulder that I think I'm going to go and visit sometime in the next month or two.
Is it Shoshone?
No, I don't think so. It's called
Okay.
something Mountain Ashram.
Something mountain. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to call them sometime soon.
Nice.
Just because I've never lived in an ashram. Well, Isaac has never lived in an ashram. And might find some benefit from such a thing. But I wanted to perhaps visit you in Colorado Springs, and we could make some videos together there before I do that.
My house is always open.
Thank you so much, Sean. That makes me feel happy.
Yeah, we would be happy to have you at any time.
Thank you so much, my friend. I need to pee really badly, and I should probably stop this video, so I'm gonna let you go pretty soon. But I want to know if you have anything that you want to express before I do that.
mind right now. Probably could not be adequately talked about in any short period of time because it's relating to money and how we think of money and how we interact with money and the psychological effects of that and how to establish a healthy relationship with this form of energy, being that that's all it really is, you know?
Yeah,
How did
an
I
idea.
think there's something really important to that. I don't know all of the Buddhist main tenets or what they're even called, but there's one that says right livelihood, like acquiring your livelihood through means which in no way impact you stepping out of your flow, stepping out of your truth, stepping out of your compassion. Like, they're all in line with that, even if it means, you know, maybe you don't make very much money, or maybe you have just enough. Like, I think that's much more important than money. Is just an interesting form of energy because we can get so carried away with it.
Indeed. I have been thinking a lot about this yesterday and the day before that and today even. And I would actually really like to have an in-depth conversation with you about that. And I might call you later tonight and hash that out. I'm probably having, now that I'm thinking about
It'll
it,
have to be a separate video because there's
Probably.
a lot to talk about.
there is indeed. But, I'll probably say something about it after I let you go because I'm sure that I will still be thinking about it after I let you go.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hanging out with my family tonight, but if I get any free time, I'd love to check out your videos and see what you've been expressing. I always learn a lot from hearing people reveal their heart, you know?
Thank
There's
you,
a lot
my
there.
lovely friend. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Much
Um,
beyond the words that appreciation conveys.
oh, thank you so much. I I feel the same way, even though there's no word for it.
We don't need words.
We don't really need words. I love you, and
I love you as well.
I will communicate with you very soon. But now I really have to pee, so I'm gonna go do that.
Have fun.
Bye, Sean. Have a good time with your family.
Alright.
Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video now and go pee, and then I'm gonna come back and keep making more of these, because I'm not even close to done.